does therapy make you less creative? I've heard this story from many different directors over the years. Was it Woody Allen was like, he went to a therapist's office or a shrink's office and asked the shrink, will this make me less creative? And they said, maybe. And he walked out. And this idea that you need to be like a tortured artist and someone who doesn't seek help or work on yourself in order to be creative and productive, I haven't seen that to be the case. I would argue that seeking therapy or seeking self-help has enabled me to improve on my work and making it something that's helpful for other people because it comes from a place of self-awareness. I think gaining more self-awareness, and that's really my experience of therapy has been so far. For me, it's, if you find a good therapist, for me, it's finding someone who will listen for most of it and then give like a top-down perspective. And it just adds another perspective that's unbiased. The person's not in your life trying to tell you, this or that because they have a motive. That's what a good therapist does, in my opinion, from my experience. And that's just an added perspective. And what I've actually found, from my experience with it, is I've learned that, I think my ex taught me that I have OCD, and that was very useful of an observation, but I didn't act on that information until I started listening to books about it. And what it made me realize is like, I'm a checkaholic. Like I had to look into it because I realized that I was checking things a million times and I couldn't stop. And what I ended up learning from delving into this is my brain interprets smoke alarms as fires. And what that means is, I have fused the thought, and this is a thing of pure OCD. I fused the negative thought, as with the reality of the situation. I imagine, did I not check that thing one more time? The house is burning down, or did I not check that I put my truck in park? It's rolling down the hill and crushing babies. And really a tool with facing that is to just comment on the absurdity of your thought and crank it up to the level 10 and say, yep, my truck's probably rolling down the hill, crushing babies right now. We're good. I'll check it later. And really you do that. You also acknowledge the fact that your brain just does that. When you realize that your brain just does that, I don't have to check it a million times. I don't have to check that I put it in park. I shake the little, park thing and make sure that it's in park. Cool. I only got to do that once. Probably shouldn't have to do that once, but I'll do that once just so I know I'm not having my truck roll down the hill and crushing babies, because I'm a citizen who cares. But I've heard like stories where people they have to go back and make sure they didn't run someone over. Or crazy things where your brain thinks I did this wrong thing. Basically, this awareness that I have now that, my brain just does this. It sends this signal. I'm actually able to tie this to another book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. I forget what the author was. Basically, I learned from that book that, we have these signals in the brain or data that we can't erase it, but we can turn it off using the adult brain, the brain that recognizes, wait a minute, this is the evidence. This doesn't add up with this thought doesn't add up with the evidence that I'm seeing in life. And you have to look at, okay, all right, I see that this thought is here. I'm meditating on it. I see that it's there. I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of it. It's just a thought. It's on the conveyor belt. I don't have to listen to it. This idea that I need to check this thing a million times. Not real. It's not going to burn the house down. It's not going to cause my truck to roll down the hill killing babies. It's not going to do anything that I imagine it will. And the exposure therapy that happens when you stop checking that because you know that it's just a thought has been so helpful. Now, as a writer, I tend to rewrite things a million times. Is that OCD? Maybe a little bit. But I think that's something that I actually allow to happen because I've noticed by accident over the years that there is a point where my writing does just become magic if I rewrite things to a certain point. And I know where that point is. But I do know how to look at it and say, all right, you know, I am a bit of a perfectionist at this, and maybe I can look at it and be more efficient. But I generally am able to reach a point where I say, okay, I don't have to check this a million times. I don't. Like, I'm actually missing out on opportunities if I keep doing that. This is all stuff that therapy's taught me. Now, does that strike you as something that makes you less creative? It doesn't make me less creative because I'm actually able to be more efficient and effective at what I do. But it's helped me break out of the matrix. And that's what a good therapist will do. The sense that if you go to therapy, that you're going to be less creative. If you don't understand how your mind works, I don't think that really helps you as an artist. I think as an artist, knowing how your mind works actually helps you, especially as a writer, unless you don't have a good grasp of your own craft. If you don't have a good grasp of your own craft, then sure, yeah, it might affect it. But that's your problem because you haven't delved too much into the craft that you work in. Now, this idea that it hurts the drive. If you have drive to do something, to some degree, I think I've had to encourage myself or find encouragement to go out and face fear and slowly become more courageous and do more projects and be more ambitious. Like, I had to start by making a short film years ago after spending, 400 pages on a steaming pile of garbage once I burned it, to just go to the basics and make something small and ambitious within its small scope. And that was feeding the fire for me. That was a short film I made in 2019 or 2018. And what ends up happening was, okay, cool. I learned how to do a short film again that I'm proud of. Awesome. Cool. And what, from doing all these short films ever since and projects, it encourages me to get more and more ambitious. And from that, the creativity is like a muscle. It develops. And if you just jump headfirst into being an artist, starting out from the beginning, no building of your craft, to just say, okay, if I sit down and write this thing for 24 hours, I'm going to have a script and it's going to be gold. You're an amateur. You're a fucking amateur. Grow up, get your shit together, because you're not making gold. I mean, it might be exciting, it might be entertaining, but you're not making something that's good for the human soul. You're not making something that actually moves people forward in life. You need to make something that is a self-help book for other people. That's my goal. I want to make movies that actually help other people, whether it's in walking them through how to heal themselves from a abusive relationship, or make a film about, faith in the face of just the worst things, a human being could imagine on earth. And that's something I'm going to work on later, but I'm doing a lot of research to figure out how to develop my faith and get ready for that. But if you basically develop if you write with a sense of craft, sense of process, you develop your process, make it consistent, and reliable. You can build in how to use that craft to help other people because you've developed self-awareness of yourself. So no, I don't think therapy has made me less creative. I think it can illuminate things that you need to work on. And if causing you to become healthier means, and by healthier, I mean, you're not seeking external validation. You're not needing to use your art to be the sole source of healing and nurturing of yourself, then if you don't need your art as that sole source of working on yourself, you're in a much better place to serve other people. If you rely on your art solely with no guidance from anyone else, no awareness of yourself and your own flaws, you're flying blind. And you are causing other people, you're making art that doesn't really aid anyone, and that's fine. I mean, it's you're making entertainment. But and I'm guilty of this at times. You're preaching your own neuroses. And I'm going to be honest. Somebody said that of my feature. I'm not going to disagree with you. I think enough people, though, found use from it and found it helpful for them, or that it was where they were at in life, and this other person's at a different place in life, and that's totally fine. But yeah, I think this idea that therapy is makes you less creative is a bit of a myth, and I think this year I've been busting it. And it's just another tool. Therapy is just another tool for you to grow as a person, and if you grow as a person, it'll help you grow as an artist and help your art grow. And if your art grows, people can grow from seeing your work. And what better art to make than that? I hope this was useful. Thomas Prophet, I make videos about how, becoming the writer, director, and Christian man I've always wanted to be. Basically a cross between Christopher Nolan and Bob Ross. And if there's a video or some topic that I could make a video about that would help you, something you need help with, let me know in the comments, because I want to start making videos directly for other people and aid them in anything that they're dealing with. That way that this becomes a conversation rather than me just talking about stuff that helps me. But that's currently where we're at right now with my 380 something subscribers. But we'll get there. We're going to be moving forward eventually. But I appreciate you watching. I hope this was helpful. See you next time. Also, watch my most recent video on the screen. See you next time. Later. Bye.